Okay, it's Tuesday. So, I'm always excited about the stuff we talk about in the dojo on Tuesdays. And today, our topic of conversation was walking in your light. What does that mean? If we are light, we are the light. That's what we're told. We are the light. Then why do we often see, experience, choose, perceive the darkness? And that's what we talked about today. So I'm going to share my screen with you because today's dojo topic was really off the charts. I mean, the conversation that we had around this was amazing. And I, again, invite you to join us live any Tuesday that you like. But if choose to you're unable to join us. That's a better way to say it. If you're unable to join us, then, you know, get all that you can out of these videos that I'm sharing about the topic that we do, because we meet every week virtually at the dojo and we have these types of conversations. And it's one thing for you to watch this video and get the message and see the topic of conversation that we talked about, but being part of the group where you can join us and say what comes up, it's amazing what we are creating, receiving, learning from each other. And I really invite you to take advantage of that and check us out if you feel called. So again, now we're talking about today's topic. But before we do that, let's kind of think about what we talked about last week. Last week, we talked about stop the doing and enjoy the being. And I'll put that video at the end of this video so that, a link so that you can just click into it if that's something that you would like to know more about. But we talked about that last week. What does it mean to be something? I believe it was the Dalai Lama that said, be the change. So what does that mean to be something? Because when we have wants, we're saying, oh, I want more money. I want a new car. I want peace on earth. I want these things. What we're basically telling the universe is that we don't have it. But if we see ourselves as being this thing that we desire, yearn for, there's no reason to ask for it because we know we are already that. So that's what we talked about last week. And if that topic interests you and you weren't able to watch it yet, you have the option to watch that as well. So today we're talking about walking in your light. And, when I was meditating and got the download to talk about this topic today, I thought about that, what does that mean for me, walking in my light? And this is what came up for me. So, when we're using our imagination, we're walking in our light. And I thought, what does that mean when I'm using my imagination? Well, where does my imagination come from? And it comes from my higher self, right? Now, there's one thing we have thoughts, and those thoughts that we think over and over become beliefs. But when we're using our imagination, we're not necessarily thinking about something we perceive. We're thinking about something that we can create. Imagination is where creation comes from, where creativity comes from. So being in your imagination, we're walking in our light. But many of us have experienced the dark night of the soul. In my case, and I'm sure if you're watching this, probably you can relate, many dark nights of the soul, right? We've had those times where we felt like, I can't take this. I just don't think I could bear one more time, one more minute of this negative experience that I'm having right now. And, you know, when we've experienced those dark nights of the soul, why do we continually choose the darkness over the light? Why do we allow the most powerful parts of us to slip away like smoke up in the air? Now, I don't know if you've ever heard this verse from Marianne Williamson, but I love this because it's a constant reminder to me. It's not our darkness that frightens us the most. It's our light. That's how she ends that sentence. And when you think about that, I thought it was a perfect analogy to share today during this message, because when we are experiencing a dark night of the soul, why are we choosing that? Why are we choosing to believe that we're in the dark versus that we are the light and we can shine our light bright, 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 and stop struggling, stop suffering? What does that mean? I mean, do we ever really stop and have that conversation with ourselves and say, wow, I came here knowing that I have all this creative power and that anything I want to do, be, or have is mine just for the putting it out there that this is what I want. And yet we don't utilize that power because we we tend to choose the darkness because that's what's familiar to us. So if our gifts and talents are part of our light, why do we fear the light? If our light holds the love of who we are, why would we choose to fear that light? What do we have to be afraid of? I mean, seriously, if we are the light, meaning that we have so much power, internal power, why would we ever be afraid? The answer is our beliefs. Think about the secrets or limiting beliefs you're holding on to as I go into this message a little bit more today, because you know that things that you were taught as a child, the beliefs that you've held on to, maybe the secrets that you've been keeping stored up in the attic of your, the mind, and you've shoved it away, you've locked it away, you don't want to look at it, but they kind of tend to creep out and creep into your emotional body, and you try to resist them. This is how we embrace darkness over light. Instead of shining a light on it and saying, you know what, I have let you take control of me for long enough. I'm not willing to accept this anymore. So it's about us standing in our light, being the light. And my goal with today's message is to tap into the light of who we are as we ask ourselves, if I'm truly a powerful creator, what am I capable of? And I think that's the question that scares so many of us. I heard a story once, Jack Canfield shared it, so that's where I heard it, about a woman who a car rolled back over her granddaughter or grandchild, and she lifted the car and got the child out. And when someone was trying to interview her and talk to her, she didn't want to talk to them. She didn't want to have anything to do with the conversation. And finally, someone said, why are you resisting this conversation? I mean, you're a hero. You did this magnificent thing. Why are you so hesitant and resistant to talk about it? And she said, because if I can do that, what else can I do? That's what scares me. What potential am I not living up to? And that thought scared her so much that she didn't even want to talk about that one thing that she was capable of doing that saved her grandchild. And I think maybe so many of us are in that situation. We're in that mindset of, well, if I'm really that powerful, what is it that I can do? That's something to really consider. And when you're thinking about what you're so capable of, you also want to ask yourself if your vision for your life matches the light inside of you. I mean, are you truly living your potential? Are you truly saying, you know what? I am the light. I am this powerful creator. And what does that mean to you? Are you standing in your power? Are you stepping into your power? Are you living from your power? That light that is so bright inside of you? Or are you embracing the darkness? 2 weeks ago, our topic was, do you believe in you? And today I believe that we have the opportunity to take that question to a whole new level, right? Because if you believe in you, then you believe you are the light. You know, you guys, anyone watching this video, I want to tell you, when I transition and I look back, I'm standing there with my higher self, the non-physical part of me, and I'm looking at like what we would perceive as a timeline of my life here on earth. I wonder, what would I see? I mean, there's no judgment on the other side of the veil, right? So it's not like we're going to look at this timeline and say, oh, this is where you went wrong. You know, this is where you messed up. That this is where you could have done this, but you chose not to do that. It's not a judgment thing, but it really is an opportunity. And we don't have to transition to have that opportunity. We can look at that now. We can just ask ourselves, am I walking in my light? Am I really doing what I believe I can do? And then what is it that you desire to do? What do you yearn for? What are you like, oh man, I want to do this? Or what do you enjoy doing? And are you allowing yourself the opportunity, the ability to do that, to be that? Remember, last week we talked about being it. So what does it mean to be it, to breathe life into yourself, about that passion, that purpose, that gift that you have? This is a conversation that we had today at the dojo. Am I walking in my light? And it was really interesting, some of the comments from some of the women in the group about how they are walking in their light, or how this question made them pause and contemplate being in their light. And I'm wondering, like, what are you thinking about this? That's a little bit of a like a visual of what we talked about today about walking in your light. So what does this mean to you? You know, when are you telling yourself that you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not capable enough, that you don't have the right contacts, that you don't have enough money, that you don't have, I mean, really, that's us walking in our darkness. That is us not believing in us. So if we truly are awakening to the understanding that we are powerful spiritual beings having a human existence, how are you using your power? Are you using it to walk in your light, or are you using it to remain in the dark? And that means, like, are you so complacent? Like, have you gotten so used to not getting what you want, not having what you want, being in the relationships that are unfulfilling, having unfulfilling careers, unfulfilling experiences with your health or your finances? I mean, have you really gotten to the point where you said, this is my life, I don't know what to do with it, there's nothing I can do? Or are you willing to say, wait a minute, if I'm truly walking in my light and I truly have creative power over my reality, my perceived reality, then that means that I don't have to deal with this. I don't have to live like this. I don't have to limit myself. I'd really love for you to leave me some comments. Let me know what you're thinking. What are your thoughts about this topic? Because, oh my gosh, we usually meet at the dojo for an hour, and today we were there for 2.5 hours talking about this very subject. Um, all those things that looked so bad to us, we looked at it and we think, well, you know, that actually wasn't bad at all. That was really me at my most powerful. One of the examples that I shared was when I went through my divorce after being married for 32 years. I got married when I was 17. And when I was going through that divorce, you want to talk about a dark night of the soul? That was a dark night of the soul for me. And I found so many reasons to be in the dark, to judge myself, to not see my light. And it I even question, like, I don't understand this. I teach this stuff. Why is this so difficult for me? But the thing is, we all believe, right, what we believe. We think that we've unraveled all of our beliefs. We've let go of all of our secrets. We've, you know, spoken our truth. Even if our voice shakes, we put things out there. But there's always going to be that something that can draw us back, that can cause us to doubt, that can put us back in that dark space. And the thing is that what we want to remind to ourselves, we all need to have like this big sticky note right there on the wall, like, so that we see it every day. It's like, you are not in the dark. You are not in the dark. If you see the dark, turn on the light. Turn on the light and dispel the dark. And that was one of the things that we talked about today. It's like, you have to be in the dark in order to see the light. But if you are the light, the only reason to move into the dark is because you're not seeing your light. So you need to go into the dark to remember that you are the light. I know it gets like, huh? What did you say? But maybe you might want to watch this video a couple times. Maybe you might want to look at the slides and see what comes up for you. Really, what comes up for you? I mean, I'm excited about this topic because it was so impactful for me, and some of the things we talked about today were so enriching and explorative for us. And we found ourselves having conversation about, oh my gosh, yeah, I could just let that go. Wow, I don't need to think that about myself anymore. And it was truly freeing. And I know that you can do the same. So remember, if you attracted this video, it's because there's something that you've been asking the universe for, some answer that you've been searching for. And somewhere in this video, somewhere in this message is that answer. And if you're saying to yourself, yeah, but I don't get it. I don't know. Sometimes we have to listen to something a couple times or read something a couple times, before the aha takes place. So just know, if you will, I invite you, that if you attracted this video to you, you attracted it for a reason. And if there's anything that I can support you with, please let me know. Visit me at masteringyourbeliefs.com. Or leave some comments here, because as you share your messages and your comments here, anyone else that is attracted to this video will look at your comments, and it will help awaken something inside of the person watching it. So we're all here to collectively work together. I invite you to visit me at masteringyourbeliefs.com. Poke around, get some free resources, check out the dojo, see if that's for you. Any way that I can support you, I am here for you. In the meantime, this is Nancy Muller, the one and only Life Sensei, saying ciao for now.